Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I wanted to share my joy. When I was sleeping and I had waken up, I woke up with the thought of at some point wanting to finish the Quran in one go. So, when you read Quran, you don't want to be distracted or absent-minded, just like when it says that about Salah as well. There's some people pray and, they are absent-minded. So that's why, I go back and forth to the Quran, but I was at a certain particular place in the Quran, and I kind of just let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reveal the understanding is what I mean to say. When I read the Quran, so I don't really rush it ever. I don't, want to stay absent-minded and such, because that's pretty much, my inclination towards, inshallah, towards the time until death comes upon me, right? And such is so that, I was at a certain place in the Quran and I didn't even think that I would be able to finish it from that bookmark onwards to complete the Quran in one go, like even that portion, to complete it in one go. And I woke up with that understanding of wanting to finish the Quran in one go, and that's exactly that's exactly what happened. I finished the Quran in one go, so alhamdulillah, I finished it just right now. Anyhow, I just got a chat message. Okay. Indeed, why not? I'm all up for the Quran, so I'll just screenshot it and then, we'll take it from there. Anyhow, but as I was talking about the Quran, I was saying that the one thing that I wanted to mention in the last broadcast was that there was one last thing that I wanted to talk about. And that one thing was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Ibrahim alayhi salam and also Musa alayhi salam also had received the scripts. Now, what does the scripts means? It means the book, right? So we see that the book was given obviously to Musa alayhi salam. We knew that portion. We also know that the book was given to it's called Isa alayhi salam, okay, in the disciples, right? So that was the Gospels, right? So when, in terms of Ibrahim alayhi salam being given a book, that's very interesting, towards the end of it when you see that Ibrahim alayhi salam was also given the book. And I'll give you the chapter as well. Hold on a second. That's what I was trying to find as I read it. If I can go back to it, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let me find it. It's on the left side, somewhere of the Al-Kitab. Let's see. That's what happens when you... Okay. Let's see. It should be the last thing that was mentioned in the Quran of one of the surahs. Let's see. Okay, I'm still not getting it. Why is that? Oh, there we go. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So chapter 87 verse number 19 says, the scripts of Ibrahim and Moses, Musa alayhi salam. So we're gonna go back to one ayat before that as well. This has been revealed in the previous scripts. So everything that was kind of, you know, I guess you can say the core of the principalities of this Al-Kitab, the Khalam of Allah, this has been revealed in the previous scripts before as well. So the scripts of Ibrahim and Musa alayhi salam, Moses, okay? And this was revealed to them as well. So this is what I wanted to come across. And again, you can go back to chapter 6 and you'll find it somewhere in there talking about how, you know, the others had received the books as well of Allah. You understand? So I wanted to talk about also the people whom pray, and they also, let me see, this is hard for me to do and I'm still not feeling well, but Alhamdulillah. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Alrighty. I'm almost there. Come on. Oh, let's see. It's chapter 107 of the Al-Quran, and it says, okay, let me just read the whole entire chapter and then we can go back and we can study the chapter. In the name of God, the Almighty, the Merciful. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Have you seen he who is denying in the system? What is the system? The system is the way of Allah, right? It is the one who mistreats the orphan and the one who does not encourage the feeding of the poor. So woe to those who make the contact prayer, salat, right? Who are towards their contact prayer absent-minded. They only want to be seen, and they withhold from any assistance. So indeed we see this quite often as well. You know, we will have those whom are also praying salat, and at the same time they are absent-minded, indeed, like not there in their mind or their senses or in their psyche of their understanding ability as to what truly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala indeed wants us to strive towards the Rahman of His and Rahim of His, but also in that manner also to uphold the system, okay, the way of His. So He wants us to incline towards Amal Salihati in terms of the treating of the orphans, also in the sense of what else, the feeding of the poor, you know, things of this sort, and so on and so forth. These are the things that He wants us to do. He wants us to be good, you know, overall, generously good. That is also a part of the purpose of our life, to do amal salihati, to do good deeds. But you know, that's a part. You can't have one without the other. You know, if you're gonna do your prayers, your prostration to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at the same time you have to be doing good deeds. And then good deeds alone is not worth it if you don't give due credence to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you know what I mean, you know. So there's kind of like part 1 to the test and then part 2 of the test. So it's like a test, but you have part A and then you have part B. So you need to kind of, you know, make good marks in both of the tests and such. I mean, there's a lot of things, you know. You're talking about what is the shocker in chapter 101. Then we have, you know, what is the destroyer. By the way, it's very interesting if you go back to chapter 97, Subhanallah. Was it called? This 1,000 nights is actually 83 something roundabout years. And that's almost like a general mean of perhaps of what someone might be living. So this one night, the night of decree, is better than a whole entire lifetime, really. So subhanallah for that. And you know, the way that you're going to achieve to even have the angels and the spirit to come across and to even take across of your matter by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is by totally, you know, praying salah every night. You know, every night, you know. I'm just saying, I'm just being silly. Let's see. Is there anything else that I could wrap it up with? Oh, you know, this is okay. Here's my studies. It's a very beautiful ending of a chapter that I wanted to discuss, and how it's almost like exactly subhanallah, my wali was actually talking about this at some point and was like, keep, you know, we're supposed to remind each other, and my wali was reminding me of keep turning to Allah as a reminder, despite you know, everything that goes on in each of our lives, right? So it's actually in a surah as well, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to turn to Him, you know, to keep in a very similar essence. He keeps telling us to turn to Him, but why am I not being able to find this for you right now? Let's see. Okay. All right. Well. We're not going to be able to perhaps come across that right now. Just like I always say, maybe inshallah in the next podcast, just like how I said in the last podcast and I came back to this one and talked about what I wanted to share. But let's see. One last time. Alright, no problem. We don't see it now. Maybe we'll see it again later. I still want to do this though. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I still want to share that because it's so beautiful. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, please help me out here. Okay. As we're talking about it and as I'm looking for this, I did want to talk about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the creation of the camel as if it is, like, it really is something to look into. And the first thing that I could think about in terms of the creation of the camel is that the camel is smiling. My last name is similar to that, by the way. That's really funny. But the camel is smiling, so I really want to get into the anatomy maybe of the camel. Maybe that's how we can continue to study this. But you know, just very interesting that that was mentioned. Yep, yep, yep. Alright. Alright, so maybe it's not in your luck. Maybe it's not in your luck. Why is it not in your luck? That is really a question. Anyhow, okay, so maybe I can find the camel verse. Why can I not find the camel verse either for you? I guess that's it. I guess that's a wrap. I guess there's nothing to really share with you. In fact, anymore until some time. I don't know when I'm going to be doing my next broadcast. If that's even going to be the case, I have a lot of things to change around, and I have a lot of things to take down on the internet, and things of that sort. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. I have a lot of swapping to do, but anyhow, peace be upon you, and I guess that's about it. Alright, so I'm out. Allah Hafiz. Peace be upon you.